So with that, I'll move forward into this segment. We can watch the video, and we'll be back in a few.
An emergency responder system is an in-building system that allows you to keep first responders connected anytime they're entering or exiting a facility. This is a different frequency and channel outside of your cell phones. This is a two-way radio communication, keeping all EMS, police, fire, and first responders in one channel, in one communication when entering and exiting a facility. It's important to have a first responders system in place, not only to keep your employees and your building safe, but as well as keeping the first responders safe. This was implemented back around 9/11 as EMS and first responders were entering and exiting the facility. They were not able to communicate. Now we have this emergency responder system in place, allowing all of these first responders to communicate when entering and exiting the facility. Parallel on the emergency responder side, we do everything from the design, assess, implementation, commissioning, even working directly with the authority having jurisdiction, as well as the fire marshal in your local area. We will work directly with them to make sure that we get your building completely up to code per their requirements, per your location. We enter into your facility, step one, and start looking at the existing infrastructure, from your drywall to your concrete to how many levels you have going up and down the facility. We'll then use the PCTEL scanner to check the frequencies that are outside your facility. Once we have figured out exactly what frequency and band your emergency responders are utilizing in your area, we will program that into the PCTEL scanner. We will then upload some floor plans, and we will start walking around your floors, taking readings, coming up with the different thresholds according to code within your area. Once we've completed roughly a 20 grid test throughout each floor and facility, we then take the report. We create a report that allows us to give it back to the customer as well as the fire marshal. And if the system does not pass, that's where we'll continue forward to looking at the design, assess, and how to implement a system within your facility. Once the system is installed via a distributed antenna system, we then utilize the PCTEL scanner again to go through and create what we call a final walk report that is created for the customer as well as the fire marshals to show and prove that the first responder system in the building is up to code.
Wonderful. So we're going to move to the question and answer section of the emergency responder system. And before we do that, I want to introduce Phil Lee. If he was seen on the video, Phil comes to us with a depth of experience around distributed antenna systems, whether that's cellular DAS or public safety DAS. He is IB-Wave certified, so that's a real help in making sure that we help design systems that meet the specific needs of the client. And with that, maybe I start there, Phil, while the questions come in. I know we're on a little bit of a delay. As the question comes in, could you just give us a little bit of background on what an IB-Wave certification is?
Yeah, absolutely. So ultimately, IB-Wave is a key tool used in creating any RF design, allows us to look at propagation. We can ultimately create your facility or building back in IB-Wave, draw the walls, the doors, the roof, the floor plan completely full on through, add in our antennas, add in our specific frequencies, bands, pending the type of solution we're looking for. And it gives us really that close look at a perfect solution.
Right. Thank you, Phil. Kind of looking at the questions. So here's a question around, I'm a building owner. Do you know if there are any liabilities associated? There's some talk of code. I think they're getting at, are there any liabilities of not implementing or putting in a public safety DAS system?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a tough question there. You know, we kind of tiptoe around it because ultimately we implement these systems. So it's not negligent to not install one. It's ultimately, we want to teach all of our customers and clients about the risks and try and mitigate the risks. I think as a building owner, that's something exactly you want to do, make your employees, your personnel feel safe, in your building. So ultimately there is some liability, yes. How exactly that water gets navigated is still being determined.
Got it. So another question here, it was spoken that there is code for first responders. I'm wondering what that code is. Essentially, they're looking for help being able to promote this within their facility as a requirement. Well, what is the code? Where is that? How do people find that? You're on mute, Phil.
Sorry about that. Each code is going to change ultimately from each state, each jurisdiction. So ultimately, you got to work with your local area. We as Parallel can help navigate those waters on who we can talk to within your area. Ultimately, this comes back to the local fire code official, and that's where every solution we look at, we're going to work with that local fire code official to make sure that we're providing the proper solution.
That's a good answer. I think, from the sales process perspective and working with our team, we can help navigate those waters. Phil's got excellent contacts there. So as we get the specifics of your environment, we can definitely help manage that. Looking at another question here. So I've seen a lot of variation in pricing of these systems. How do I know? How do I know what I'm getting for that pricing? I've just seen a wide variation, is what they're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of different solutions out there. Not all solutions are equal. We're really going to look at your facility type, your location. Are you a warehouse? Are you an office building? So ultimately, there's a lot of different varieties of systems out there, and that's what we're here to do. We're here to make sure that we're putting the proper solution into place. And two, a lot of the things we're seeing is just maybe either some over engineering, or ultimately there's competitors out there that are willing to just kind of throw some antennas onto a floor plan to provide a solution that you maybe as a customer don't know if it's feasible or not. That's why we utilize iBwave to make sure that their software, their exact items are within that software. If it's not an iBwave for us to design with, typically we don't even touch a system like that.
As we're looking at a facility, are there specific areas that you typically have more challenges with versus less challenges? Are there specific environments that are harder, or is it the same across the board?
No, we're really trying to teach a lot of our customers how to implement these things when it comes to a retrofit building, when it comes to a new build. The code really is determined off of kind of those two different things. And ultimately, we need to look at the height of the building. If you're over a certain height, you will be mandated to put it in, just like the instance we saw out at during 9/11. A lot of the times for retrofit facilities, we're seeing the lower levels needed to be covered. Anything below grade, below ground parking garages, below ground, data centers, below ground office buildings. A lot of the times, anything in a downtown area, you're going to have less coverage. So ultimately, it comes down to your type of build, if it's new or if it's a retrofit, the size of your building, as well as do you have any underground areas in your building.
Wonderful. Thank you, Phil. Really appreciate your insight and your subject matter expertise. We have Phil available to us as we work through the design element of these systems. He can be available to go on sites with the PCTEL device, do walkthroughs, talk through the technologies. We have great presentations around, hey, where is this public safety world? Where is the cellular DAS world? So reach out to one of the business development managers and they'll be able to help you with that.